And welcome everybody to another edition of the GSMC Baseball Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Kenneth Gruenfelder, and it's great to have everybody here on this Friday, December 15th. We have a lot to talk about on the show today, but before I get into that, I just want to remind you guys, as always, to tip or donate and get your comments recognized, make sure to go to the following link. That is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps the show and makes the show more interactive between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. Again, that is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. And as always, it is displayed on the ticker on the bottom of the show segment down below. So with that, let's get right into what we are going to talk about today. So, starting off the show, we are going to talk about Shohei Ohtani signing that 10-year, $700 million contract with the LA Dodgers. So we'll get into that. And some of the disagreements that I have, as well as other baseball fans have with this deal. So we'll get into that. In the second part of the show, I'll go over some power rankings that there was an article that came out on CBS Sports. So I'll go over that and where teams are in those power rankings. And then in the third part of the show, we'll talk about Cody Bellinger and where he can potentially sign. Because, now with some teams making moves, they're out on the Cody Bellinger sweepstakes, so we'll get into that. And then in the final part of the show, I'll give you, Yamamoto updates, where, teams he's visited with and where he could possibly sign here. So now, thing I want to touch upon, you might notice that I'm not in my bedroom. I'm in a different location. I am currently in my basement. Because, with the new times and stuff, it's a little bit earlier. So I thought, because pretty much everybody in my house is home today, so I thought I'm going to help them out. I'm going to do the show, at least this show. I'll probably go back up in my room for the football podcast. But at least for this show, I am going to stream in my basement. I'm currently sitting in front of my brother's PC. So that's where I'm doing the show right now. I just want to move my mic on my laptop if I'm able to do that, just so it's a little bit closer. Hopefully, I don't click anything. But yeah, so that's so this is where I am currently. Is in my brother's PC chair, his gamer chair, as I'm doing the show here. So let's get right into the first topic now, which is talking about Ohtani. So he signed with the Dodgers, 10 years, $700 million. Okay, and it was funny because before that, there were reports that there was a plane heading towards Toronto and that Ohtani was on it. He was going to Toronto, and it was like, okay, looks like the Blue Jays, they might end up signing Ohtani. But that was not the case. Ohtani ends up getting signed by the Dodgers. So he was actually at home, and he ended up signing the 10-year deal with the Dodgers for $700 million. But here's the thing, and I honestly had no idea that you could do this, but they deferred $680 million to the end of the contract. So Ohtani's going to be making $2 million for 10 years, and then the rest of that contract is going to be paid once he retires. I honestly didn't know you could do that. If I'm gonna be completely honest, listen. It's a smart move for them, but it's terrible for the game. It's terrible for the game. There's no question about it. Because now the Dodgers can go out and they can get whoever. I mean, they could go out and sign Yamamoto. I mean, they actually made another trade yesterday. They acquired Tyler Glasnow and Manuel Margot from the Rays. Because the pitching for the Dodgers, especially, that's kind of, the reason why they got eliminated last year. That was that was a good trade for them. But yeah, the pitching was the problem. So now they go out and get him. Ohtani's not going to pitch this year. I saw that Clayton Kershaw is still, undecided on whether or not he's going to pitch in 2024. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But, Ohtani's going to come back and pitch next year. You got Glasnow. And then on top of that, you can go out and sign Yamamoto. Sorry, I'm holding back a sneeze. Again, that at least happens, once or twice during the stream. But yeah, so they could go out and get whoever they want, and yeah, it's not good for the game. Um, and listen, as you could see all the Yankee stuff, behind me. Look, I get it, but it's just, I mean, for these smaller market teams, I mean, it's like, what's even the point? Now, people are still making jokes on social media. They're going to do all this, just to, get knocked out in the first round. And again, it's very possible. Um, but they are stacking their team right now. And, you could say that the lineup's kind of top heavy, with Freeman, Betts, Otani. And then, you got some of the other, like, obviously Muncy is a good player for them, a guy that can hit 40 plus home runs, but doesn't hit for average. Um, so, but the lineup's top heavy, and it's you know, it's still a very good lineup. It's just that you know, they still have to fill it out, and I mean they acquired Margot, so but I mean, it was going to come down to either the Blue Jays or the Dodgers. That's the bottom line. So, um, the Dodgers ended up getting it, and it's not surprising. But now it's like they could go out and get whoever they want. They can do whatever they want. They could get Yamamoto. I mean, they could get Blake Snell. I mean, they could sign everybody. And it scares me because listen, the Yankees, they might have Soto for just 1 year, but you know, the Dodgers could say, "Hey, we'll give you money. We deferred all that money to with Ohtani. We could bring you in too." And then they add him to their lineup too. So, but they're able to do it. It's not like they're doing something illegal. This is something Ohtani suggested. And he said if it was up to, he said he would defer all the money, because he wants to win. And look, I get it, because you spend all those years with the Angels and, you really couldn't get anything going. Um, you know, I get it, but it's not good for a lot of baseball fans are not happy about it. I'm not happy about it either, but again, I'm a Yankee fan, so does my opinion matter? I mean, I think it does. I mean, listen, I don't want to see my team doing that either. You know, like if the Yankees are able to sign Soto, like I don't want them doing that. You know, but I mean, if they do that, I'm not gonna complain about it. If it's legal and we're able to do it, then they could do it. But at the same time, I'd rather them not do that. But because Otani even said that, I think it was like with all his like endorsement deals and things like that. Um, he the contract he could get paid whenever for that. So I mean, again, he's not going to be pitching the first year, but I know because then he's going to retire and he's going to get all that retirement money, which is insane. Because I think it was like between like because I saw it was like between like 2034 and 2043 is when like he'll get all the money basically, like roughly. I mean, it's wild. It's unprecedented. The deal, $700 million. Because yeah, I mean, are we gonna reach that point where a player's gonna get like in a sport? Are we gonna reach that point where a player's gonna get paid $1 billion? Because it's kind of trending that way. Um, I mean, unless like somebody comes along and is able to play, two sports. I mean, combined they'll get $1 billion maybe. But I don't know. I mean, Otani came very close to that, 700 million. I mean, like, you see some of the contracts these guys sign, like back, like 10 years ago, like Cano signs that 10-year contract with the Mariners. Um, you know, Trout signing his contract and Stanton, all these guys, and now we're getting to, this 700 million. I mean, this is a 10-year contract, but $700 million is just insane. And he's not going to get that much of it until he retires. So, yeah, it's a pretty lucrative contract, and it's wild. It's wild. But that was the biggest free agent on the board. And now we kind of just we're kind of just waiting on where everybody else is going to sign. Um, you know, so we just got to wait and see. But the big guys have been moved. The big guys have gone places. Ohtani and Soto, they were with their new teams now. So we're waiting on Yamamoto, Bellinger, some of these other guys that haven't signed yet. So we're moving right along in the off season. But yeah, let me know what you guys think though about this deal with Ohtani. I mean, listen, the Dodgers, and I talked about this, like getting rid of a lot of guys. They got rid of Trey Turner and Justin Turner. Some of these guys that have been contributors to their team, and that's because they had their eyes on Ohtani. I mean, they had JD Martinez for 1 year. Obviously, he's going to be gone. Because Ohtani's going to be their DH. I mean, I don't really see him playing the field, even when he comes back and pitches next year. Because I'm pretty sure they did throw him out in the outfield, and I guess but we'll see. I mean, new team, we'll see what the Dodgers decide to do there. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting deal, and because I mean, I've never seen that. I've never seen that. I've never seen them just push all the money towards the end of. Well, I'm not saying like in any sport, but it's obviously like you have, in the NFL, like they, can move money around and things like that, especially like when they're trying to like, maneuver it for like the salary cap. But I mean, at least for like this amount, like $680 million. I mean, now compared to what he's getting paid, for the 10 years, it's like lunch money. He's getting paid $2 million a year. Like I wish, like I wish we got paid that, But that's the thing, and the owners, they enabled it, and listen, I've had these conversations with my family for years now. Every time somebody signs a big contract, it's like, I mean, there's not. What do you want me to do about it? I can't do anything about it. This is what it is. This is what it is. So, it's unfortunate, for some people, because now they just feel like, well, what's the point of even playing next year? What's the point of even just watching the season if you just think the Dodgers are going to make it? But listen, Dodgers can bring in whoever. Listen, you won the COVID season, but since then, I mean, their team was loaded in 2022. A lot of people thought they were going to win that year, and they got bounced out by the Padres. So, listen, all it takes is one team to get hot at the right time, and then you get eliminated. And we saw that plenty of times in the playoffs. The team that won the World Series, the Rangers, they got hot at the right time. So, but yeah, like I said, let me know what you guys think about this Ohtani deal. And with that, we're going to take our first break of the show. And then when we come back, we're going to discuss the MLB Power Rankings that I saw on CBS. I'll give you my thoughts on that when we come back from our first break of the show. So, that being said, stick around and we'll be right back here on the GSMC baseball podcast.